Peter, let's do this. Action. Hey, it's Annika here with Sniff Dog. If you have a dog that has to be sedated and go to the vet to get their nails clipped, or you have a puppy and you want to prevent that from being your reality in the future, this video is for you. At Sniff Dog, we're here to teach you how to speak dog. If you can have a better understanding of your dog, you can have a relationship built off trust and fun. We want to come on this wonderful journey of pet ownership with you to help empower the love and connection between you and your pup. Getting their nails clipped is a commonly despised experience for dogs and puppies alike. It's preventative. You can make sure that your puppy does like their nails being clipped when they become adults, but it's also a really hard thing to modify if they've already decided that they are not a huge fan. Muzzling your dog, sedating your dog, or avoiding the entire thing together isn't really a solution because your dog never learns to feel safe or comfortable when they are having their nails clipped. Really quick, before we get started with today's videos, I wanted to give a quick shout out to Luna Mills. Thank you so much for continuing to support us, leaving comments, etc. on all of our videos on social media. If you want to be featured on our YouTube video, make sure that you leave comments about the videos you want to learn more about. We are doing this for you people. And like, share, and tell your friends about all of our offerings. As always, there's a lot of tips in today's video, so make sure that you don't forget to download the training tip sheet and stay to the end for the bloopers. Today's 4 training tips are: tip number 1, desensitize your dog to nail clippers being in their presence. Tip number 2, desensitize your dog to you touching their feet. Tip number 3, desensitize your dog to nail clippers touching their feet for short periods of time. And tip number 4, desensitize your dog to nail clippers being used one nail at a time. What you'll need for today's video is a pair of nail clippers, a whole bunch of breakable tiny treats or even kibble, and a comfortable place for your dog to lie. All right, folks, having your dog inherently love the experience of having their nails clipped is really unlikely. You either have to put a shit ton of work in when they're puppies to normalize nail clipping experiences happening for them, or you have to undo an already negative association over weeks and weeks, if not months, if your dog really has a sensitivity. Again, I don't recommend just going ahead and sending them away to different groomers and having them have this traumatic experience done by somebody else. We can make them like nail clippers and the experience of having their nails clipped if we take the time to desensitize them. In this plan, what we're going to do is teach your dog that nail clippers equal good things happen. We're trying to convince their brain that it's not a bad thing when these random things come moving towards their feet. You can imagine a metal thing moving towards your feet is pretty scary and uncomfortable if you're a dog and you don't really understand what it does. If you don't like pedicures, you can understand where your dog is coming from as well. It's sometimes uncomfortable, ticklish, and most dogs and puppies don't like being forced to do anything that they're unfamiliar with. Often as puppy parents, we just force it and we make it happen, and by the time a dog is an adult, they're pretty clear that they have no interest in having this weird metal thing move towards their feet. So this can be a preventative training plan, and I really recommend if you have a new puppy, you work on it actively and regularly, but it can also be done for an adult dog that already has a sensitivity. Whether you've got a puppy that's just getting to know the nail clippers, or you've got that dog that has the sensitivity already, today's training plan will be sure to make your dog more comfortable and even like the nail clipping experience in the future. Side note, a lot of people try to use Dremels instead of nail clippers to get their dog to desensitize to the experience of having their nails clipped. And it doesn't really matter which one you choose to use, both of which are friggin' weird for your dog at first. So this training plan is totally suitable whether you're using a Dremel or nail clippers. And if you are choosing nail clippers, make sure that it matches the size of your dog. If you have a puppy, you need puppy nail clippers. If you have an adult, you need adult nail clippers. And one last tip with nail clippers, you can get a guard that kind of shows up on the clippers that allows you to choose how deep you can put their toe into the clipper. If you're a nervous nail clipper, I recommend looking for clippers that have the guard present when you purchase them. Let's get started. Tip number 1 is to desensitize your dog to the presentation of the nail clipper or the Dremel. From this point moving forward, I'm going to be saying nail clipper. Now, a couple of things have to happen in the right order here in order for your dog to actually be associating the clippers with the food. Don't get this part wrong or else this isn't actually going to work for you. This tip goes for the rest of the training with nail clippers and anything you're trying to get your dog to like for that matter. In order for your dog to develop an association, they have to notice the object and then they notice the food. If you have that in the wrong order or the two are overlapping where the food and the clippers are presented at the same time, your dog's just noticing the food. They never notice the clippers in the first place. So it's always the presentation of the object, in this case it's clippers, and then the presentation of food within a few seconds. They cannot happen at the same time. As you'll see here with me and Cedar, I present the clippers towards his feet without touching him at all. And then I use the yes word and offer him a piece of food. I'm gonna do this 10 times per foot. The fact of the matter is you do not push past their current tolerance level. So if Cedar moves away, he stands up and walks away, he takes his foot away from me, I'm listening to his body language and I'm hearing that he's not totally comfortable with what I'm doing. If ever your dog moves away or is avoidant, it means you need to go back a step. Maybe instead of presenting the clippers all the way in their face, you just put it on the ground for them. If they're fine with it on the ground, you can start holding the object, but never, ever, ever push past where your dog is showing you they're no longer comfortable. We want this to be on their terms and their time and to be a fun game that we play with them, which means you have to respect their boundaries. Do not push through them if they are avoiding the object. If you can't seem to have your dog get comfortable with the clippers being in your hand near them, not moving towards them per se, but just presented, then definitely start for a week with the nail clippers being on the ground. A quick tip would be put the nail clippers down on the ground and then cover it with all of their food every single night for dinner. If the nail clippers go down and then the food is delivered, they start to think,
holy shit, I think the nail clippers are actually causing my dinner to happen.
Which means we get a bing, a positive emotional response to the presentation of the nail clippers. They start to think the nail clippers being presented is then the cause of food, which makes them like the nail clippers, and then you can progress to future steps. Make sure your treats are hidden. If your treats are in your hand, they're staring at your treats and then the nail clipper comes out. If they see the treats first, they did not learn that the nail clipper is the predictor of the good stuff. That's called backwards training. We do not want to do that. We want to make sure that the food is hidden in a pocket or on a counter and not within your dog's view until you say yes and then feed them after the nail clipper has been presented. Once your dog is having a positive reaction to the nail clippers coming out, you're ready to move to tip number 2. Until your dog is jazzed to see them come out, do not move to the next step because you're likely gonna have to take a few steps back anyways if you skip this part. Tip number 2 is to desensitize your dog to you touching their feet, not the clippers. Listen, if your dog doesn't like their feet being touched, how the hell are you gonna hold their foot to clip it with a nail clipper? It's important you don't skip this step. Many dogs have foot sensitivities. They don't love it when we touch their feet or even hold their feet. You might be stuck on this step for a long time if your dog currently does not tolerate you touching their feet. Do not rush this part. Again, we want them to think the nail clipping adventure is a good one where good things happen and we never ever force them to tolerate anything that they really don't feel comfortable with. Now, in order to get your dog to like you touching their feet, it's very similar to tip number 1, but there's no clippers involved. So as you see here with me and Cedar in the video, I am reaching towards his feet, saying yes once I'm touching them, and then hand delivering him a treat that he didn't know was present. I'm gonna do that 10 times per foot. Once he's totally chill with me touching all feet 10 times for lots and lots of treats or kibble, I'm gonna start to pick up the foot and hold it for a second. 1 second, not 5. I'm gonna hold all feet a few times over for 1 second and give him some treats. Now, once he's comfortable with that, which might take a week, it might take you doing this 30 seconds a day for a week, or even a minute a day for an entire week before you're able to pick up a foot and hold onto it. Do not hold onto the foot any longer than your dog is currently comfortable, or else you're gonna have to go back in training. Don't skip this part and don't rush it. So now that Cedar's comfortable with me touching and lifting his feet, I'm gonna aim to be able to hold each foot for 5 seconds without him moving away. He'll get a treat at the end of those 5 seconds. Friendly reminder, if your dog gets up and moves away from you, they're communicating,
I don't really like this game anymore.
and the only reason they wouldn't like this game anymore is if you're making it too hard for them to like it. So if you're holding each foot for 3 seconds and they walk away, you might want to go back to holding each foot for 1 second and then giving them those food rewards to make it easier for them to tolerate and entertain this weird foot touching game that we've started with them. Similarly, if at any point during any of these exercises you get nipping, oh, you're welcome for showing you that for some reason, barking at you, snapping at you, head whipping, like turning their head really fast, or even growling at you, you're pushing it too hard too fast. Listen to them. They're allowed to tell you to screw off if they don't like you touching their feet, just like you're allowed to have those boundaries with the people in your life. So don't punish them if they tell you to stop. Just know that you're not listening to them and you're not making it easy enough for them to want to play the game with you. If they do any of those more strong boundary setting behaviors, just walk away, end the game, and try again when they're nice and calm and quiet the next day. P.S. Never play this game with them, any of these tips, if you are dealing with a hyper dog. This should be only rehearsed when they're nice and calm and quiet. Okay, once they're totally cool with you touching all their feet like Cedar is, you can move on to tip number 3. Don't move to tip number 3 until you can hold each foot for 5 seconds with your dog just hanging out, waiting for that yes, and then food reward to be delivered. All right, if you're at this step, your dog should be really excited when the nail clippers come out. Having them in a calm place like their bed and making sure to remember to have all those treats hidden is the best place to start. Once your dog is ready and you are prepared, yes, I want you to move those clippers towards their feet and make very short contact. Maybe 1 second, those metal clippers are going to be touching your dog's foot. Say yes, and then reach for that food and feed them. You'll see here with me and Cedar, I do it multiple times, maybe 5 to 10 times per foot. And then I move on to asking for longer and longer durations of me holding those clippers at his feet before he hears the yes word. That means he's about to get a treat. Once your dog is super comfortable with the nail clippers moving towards their feet for about 5 seconds per foot, you can add the step of holding the foot and then putting the nail clippers towards the foot. At no point in this step are you actually clipping any nails. We're just trying to get them used to you forcibly holding a foot and the weird metal thing moving towards their foot in anticipation of the yes and treat situation. If your dog does not like the combination of the foot being held and the clippers being moved towards them, just go back a step and don't worry about it. It's normal to have some ebb and flow in the progression of this training plan. Once your dog's totally cool with you holding their foot, moving the clipper towards it, and you never have clipped a toenail yet, then you're ready for tip number 4. For the record, totally cool in your dog looks a bit like Cedar, lying down, chilling, making sure that his body tension is pretty loose. He's sort of looking and waiting for food, but he doesn't really care. He's not moving away. He's not tense. He's not got a really closed mouth with his tongue flicking out over and over, which would be a warning sign that he's a little uncomfortable.
He's just like, cool lady, where's the food?
Tip number 4 is to desensitize your dog to you holding their paw and clipping one nail at a time. Don't try to nail clip all of your dog's toenails in one sitting. Major no-no. You're gonna put them past what we call their stress threshold. Their stress threshold is that moment between,
this is okay, I'm gonna tolerate it, and screw off, I don't like what you're doing.
it's normal for your dog to have a threshold. Some dogs are greater than others in terms of how much they're going to tolerate, but we never want to pass it. So we want to be really making sure that we're working below that stress threshold, starting before we see stress and avoidance and ending before we see stress and avoidance. So my hope for you is that this protocol allows you to do one nail every day. By the end of 5 days, you can start on the next foot. It's really not putting them in a situation to be too stressed out, which is perfect because we want them to think, oh, cool. That 5 minutes we do a day of touching my feet with this weird metal thing doesn't happen every day. And when it does, it's not a lot of pressure. So one nail at a time would be a great goal. If your dog's super chill about it because you've done your homework well, you're welcome, then you can do one paw a day instead of one nail a day. The last tip I'll make is that you should have fun with it. It's a little bit of a strange situation for your dog. So if you see squirming or discomfort, feel free at any point to just change your tone a little bit. Good boy. Loosen them up. Allow them to feel like it is a safe place and that they can trust you even though you're moving this really weird metal thing towards their feet, which sometimes can cause a little bit of discomfort. A few things to avoid would be never force your dog to tolerate nail clipping unless they're ready for it. It's a bit like crate training. If you force it too soon and you do it wrong and you rush the process, you're gonna be shit out of luck when you actually need to nail clip. So don't push them too hard, too fast through these steps, and also don't ever force them to tolerate those nails being clipped. And don't you dare punish growling. Remember, for everything puppy and dog related, punishing growling punishes communication and boundary setting, which is not something we want to encourage. If you punish growling, they learn growling is not a safe warning to give, and they'll just bite you next time if they're in conflict. like. Avoid that at all costs. If they growl, back off, listen to them, and know that you push too hard, too fast. Thank you so much for watching, folks. I hope you found today's tips helpful. Please remember this is both a preventative training plan and a corrective training plan if your dog already has a pre-existing nail clipping phobia. If you like what you saw in today's video, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and press the notify button so that you find out when our next video comes out, which is every single week. Like, share, and comment on our Facebook. Let us know what you want to learn more about, and follow us on Instagram. We've got so many extra tips on there every single day for you. Don't forget to download the training tip sheet. I made it for you, and enjoy the bloopers. Are tip number 1. There's 4, not 3. Today's 4 training I'm never gonna get this. I'm just never gonna get it. Let them to follow us on